Hey everybody, welcome to Cindy Certified Recipes. You're gonna be so happy you saw this video today because I'm taking all these super fresh ingredients and we're turning them into an ultimate, amazing zucchini bread. In fact, it's kind of a shame to call it zucchini bread. But before we get to that, I would sure appreciate you guys hitting that subscribe button if you haven't already, and then also hitting that notification bell so you get first dibs on all my upcoming videos. Now let's get to this. We're back everybody and got all of our goodies assembled here, and anytime I bake, as you might know from my previous videos, that requires some things you got to do with your pan in advance to get it ready. I like to do that first. And so I have my loaf pan here, and I have just a little bit of Crisco on there, and we're gonna rub that all over the pan. Getting all those nooks and crannies. Like so. And then you're gonna just have a little piece of parchment paper and lay that down inside and stick it to the sides. That's gonna help you lift that bread out when it's done. Like so. See how it sticks? And that's all you're looking to do. And then just set that aside so when you're done with the batter, you can just pour it on in there. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with our dry ingredients first. And that's gonna be 1 cup of all-purpose flour. And 3/4 cup of sugar. And 1 teaspoon each of baking soda, baking powder, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. And you're gonna wanna mix that up and get all those so they're evenly distributed in the bowl. Just give it a little whisk. That's good. And now what I like to do is, this recipe calls for 1 cup of roughly chopped walnuts. If you don't want walnuts, you can leave them out, or I find a nice second place is pecans. Or you can put in whatever you want, or don't put any nuts at all. So I like to measure them after they're chopped. So I got my little 1 cup measurement here, and I'm gonna just put them down here, and I just, like I said, I like a rough chop because I kind of like them a little larger in the bread. When you slice the bread and you slice through walnut, you get that sliced walnut look. So just a rough chop. You don't want them like teeny tiny. That's what I'm looking for right there. But that's what I like. Feel free to chop them any way you like. I'm just going to measure out 1 cup. Need a few more. That looks really good. I used to only put 1/2 cup of nuts in there, and I find myself kind of wanting more of that little walnut taste and those little crunchy nuts in there. So I have adjusted this recipe now to 1 cup of walnuts. And a few more. That's gonna do it. So there's our 1 cup of walnuts. And since technically that's a dry ingredient, I'm gonna put it in there. Give it a little stir. Whoops, fling it around. I tend to be a messy cook, you guys, if you haven't noticed yet, so I always have like this major cleanup after I do anything. So dump that over there. And now to the wet ingredients. So we're going to get a little bigger bowl because everything's going to go in that bowl. And I'm going to put in, this is a 1/4 cup of buttermilk. And I really like, as you guys know, full fat dairy. It just tastes so much better. It has better body. It's actually better for you too. You know, your brain is mostly fat. So we need these good fats. So that is a 1/4 cup of wonderful full fat buttermilk. And a 1/4 cup of a very light olive oil. And you can use vegetable oil if you like, but I like the light olive oil. And 2 eggs. And I got these eggs, they come in these colors and like a light pink and a white. They call them Easter eggs, just by the different chickens that lay them. So we're gonna put 2 eggs in there. And now we're gonna start shredding our vegetables and our fruit. So I couldn't resist when I was at the store. Normally I buy orange normal carrots, and I couldn't resist these beautiful red carrots. And so I like to try and bring you guys unique things when I can. And these were so beautiful I couldn't pass them up. So that is what is going into our zucchini bread today. And I just like to cut them in kind of manageable chunks, which is normally in half or so. So I don't shred my fingers. We need 1/2 cup of these babies, so we're gonna just start shredding away. All right, let's check out that and see what that measures up to. Here's our little 1/2 cup. I like to pat it down. That's looking good. So that's gonna go into our wet bowl. And since it's all going in the same bowl, I really don't need to clean up my shredder. And so next we're gonna do the zucchini, and got these real beautiful ones here, and I just like to chop off the ends. Cut them in half and start shredding away. There too, we need 1/2 cup. I gotta tell you just a little story while I'm doing this. My husband hates zucchini, like hates zucchini. But even he eats this bread. He loves this bread. So you have some people in your family who are anti-zucchini, this is for them. Let's take a look at that. I think that's going to be plenty. Let's get it in the measuring cup. That's looking good. Top it off. Dump that in the wet bowl. Let's get some of these shreds out of the way. Because next is the apple. So, you know, I like yellow apples, yellow delicious, so we're going to be working with that today. You want to take off the peel. And this usually always takes 2 apples. And by the way, I like to do the apples last because they turn brown so fast. And so I like to leave them for last when I'm shredding up all the stuff. If you have like a monster apple, it might work just to have one, but you can see these are definitely not monster apples. Okie doke. Now let's start shredding these guys up. 1/2 cup again. Let's take a look at that. That looks like plenty. Get our trusty little 1/2 cup measuring cup here. Pat it down. That looks good. Into the pot. So now what we want to do is mix up our wet ingredients. Blend them all together. By the way, if you guys have a zucchini recipe for all the zucchini haters in your family, maybe shoot them my way. All right, that's what that's gonna look like. And now we're gonna start putting in all those dry ingredients. That includes the nuts. And this is gonna be a kind of a thick batter. And you're just blending it so it's incorporated. I'm not doing any massive whipping here. And I like to do this part with a spoon and not the whisk because all those shredded things get stuck in the whisk and it's not fun. Just about there. I got all the flour incorporated and all those other dry ingredients. It's looking great. Alrighty. Bring in our prepared pan. And you're simply going to pour all that in your pan. I gotta get a new grip here. There we go. There we got all that yummy stuff in the pan. Just kind of, you know, use your spoon and get it to all the edges. And one thing I like to do at this point, and I gotta tell you a little story. Several years ago, we went to Switzerland on a vacation, and in their breakfast, I love to eat nuts, and they had these gorgeous, like, made my eyes pop out, dark green pumpkin seeds. And I was like, OMG, those are like to die for. And come to find out, they're from a particular type of pumpkin, but when you're looking for them, look for Austrian pumpkin seeds. And so that's all I buy now are these deep green beauties. And being there like in the squash family, and we are calling the zucchini bread, I like to just kind of put a few of those beautiful green jewels on top. Just decoration, but also a little nutrition. Pumpkin seeds are really high in zinc, and that's what that's gonna look like. I don't want to tilt it too much. And that's gonna go in a 350-degree oven for approximately 50 minutes. We'll test it somewhere along the line there about 10 minutes before it's supposed to be done with a toothpick. And so that's gonna go in the oven. We got our super delicious bread out of the oven, and it's been resting about 10 to 15 minutes. And now we're gonna use our trusty handy dandy parchment paper to lift it out. Easy as that, easy as pie. And just gonna put it down on a rack there. Look at that, so gorgeous. So what I'm gonna do, I'm going to take off this parchment because you don't want it to sweat inside that parchment. Just like that. And there we have our gorgeous bread. Now it's gonna sit and cool a little while longer. You can cut into it when it's warm, but it's usually not a good idea to cut in anything that's overly hot. So the house smells like a really nice bakery right now, but we gotta wait just a little while longer. Our bread's out of the oven and it's been cooling and it's kind of cool. We really couldn't wait much longer because it is quite delicious to eat while it's still kind of warm. And for that matter, it's delicious to eat anytime, cool, warm, frozen, whatever you want to do. So I'm going to cut into this so you guys can see it. I'm using just a little serrated knife. You can see by that. You can see that inside with all those nuts. It's totally delicious, you guys. And look who's coming over to take the first piece, Mr. Zucchini Hater. So I will cut another piece for me. Oh boy. Look at that. This stuff is good with coffee, tea, breakfast, dessert, anytime you want to eat it. It's so good. You get all those flavors and it's super moist. You guys have to make this. And thanks for being here on Cindy Certified Recipes. And we'll see you in our next episode. Moist, delicious, and downright nutritious. I hope you guys get to try this soon. And remember, if it's time tested, top-notch ingredients, and the talk of the table, it's Cindy Certified.